Let's talk about Very Dark Man.
Who's Very Dark Man? You have to give me people's names.
That is his name.
No, that's not. I'm sure you're referring to Martins.
Yes.
Or Chelsea or something. Yeah.
We all know him as Very Dark Man.
Yeah, okay.
Omoyele Sowore is in business. Is in what I call fundraising business. And I will open your eyes to that.
It has started months ago when those rats come outside, because I don't see them. You know, when useful idiots that don't know what the political space is.
For a while, it looked like these three men were on the same side. Not because they belonged to the same political party, not because they worked for the same organization, but because they were all fighting what many Nigerians see as the same enemy: corruption, bad governance, police brutality, political impunity. Whether you agreed with them or not, many young Nigerians placed them in the same camp. Then, everything changed.
Even Very Dark Man, if I had not intervened on his behalf on Easter Sunday of 2024, that was the day he was arrested. It was the first time he enjoyed freedom, and he brags about it. He will not be able to be doing what he's doing today if I had abandoned him in prison at that time.
Now, Omoyele Sowore, let me tell you the truth. I know for some reason you thought that I was going to associate myself with you. And all this, your hate, came from the fact that I am not associating myself with you. You know, that's why probably you are jealous. You know, you have seen what Very Dark Man can do. You know the truth. Why I cannot associate myself with you is because you don't have a structure.
That's why people like me, when I saw it coming, I will not let any useful idiot come and destroy anything that they God don't understand. It's all part of the game. Now you will see so. Now they come out and they do video. Hey God, this world is bad. Is Sowore a thief or is Sowore not a thief? Because if Sowore is a thief, why is anybody that called Sowore a thief yesterday coming outside to do video that they should free him? Why would anybody do video to free a thief? Stand 10 toes on your business. If you believe Sowore is a thief, shut up your mouth now. Don't tell them to free him, because thieves should be locked up.
Today, they're accusing each other of serious things. Sowore has questioned Very Dark Man's role and intentions, raising concerns about the direction of his activism. Very Dark Man has questioned Sowore's political record, asking why, after years of activism and repeated presidential campaigns, he has not been able to build a winning electoral movement. He has also publicly questioned aspects of Sowore's finances and fundraising. Seun Kuti has also publicly criticized Very Dark Man, arguing that he believes VDM's approach could damage broader activist movements. These aren't small disagreements. These are fundamental disagreements about strategy, leadership, trust, and the future of opposition politics in Nigeria. So before we ask who's right, before we ask whether these men can ever work together again, we first need to answer a much simpler question. Who exactly are they? Where did they come from? How did they become some of the most influential voices among young Nigerians? Let's start with the oldest political movement of the three, Omoyele Sowore.
In our leadership. And we have said it that tomorrow will not belong to us. Today is our day. We have been cheated for too long.
This was not the kind of message the military welcomed. As the crowds dispersed, Sowore was arrested and imprisoned for 2 weeks.
Long before hashtags, long before Facebook, long before X, there was Omoyele Sowore. For more than 3 decades, he has been one of Nigeria's most recognizable activists. He first became known in the 1990s as a student activist at the University of Lagos. Nigeria was under military rule. Protests were dangerous. Students were arrested. Some disappeared. Others were beaten. But Sowore kept organizing.
They had written a letter that I was supposed to sign, and saying that myself and other people at large were planning to overthrow the Nigerian military government. Mind you, this offense is a capital offense, and it takes a death penalty. I was 18 years old. I only went out a few hours ago with leaves in my hand to protest against the World Bank, not even the Nigerian government. And here I am now facing treason.
One of the defining moments of that period came after the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election, widely believed to have been won by Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. Like many student activists of his generation, Sowore joined protests demanding that the election result be respected. Those years would shape the rest of his life. Years later, he founded Sahara Reporters. At a time when many powerful people controlled traditional media,
Omoyele Sowore is a Nigerian citizen journalist who has a history of openly opposing his country's government. So much so that he says he's been detained several times and endured many police beatings. Now, a world away in New York City, Sowore uses the internet to continue writing about corruption in his country's politics. Adeola Oladele met up with Sowore and filed this report.
There's a place on the internet where anyone can read about the good, the bad, and the ugly in Nigerian politics. SaharaReporters.com was created by Omoyele Sowore, a self-trained citizen journalist. Although he's a Nigerian citizen, he says his country considers him persona non grata.
The government doesn't recognize that I have enough rights to travel into Nigeria like every regular Nigerian because I dare to be different from everybody.
To him, being different means writing to expose corruption and injustices in his country. Omoyele says his website gets more than 1 million page views every month. Some of the stories receive more than 100 comments.
But the reason why the word Sahara came was for a few reasons. One, because I'm fascinated by geographical features, being a geography graduate myself. And secondly, I just looked at it and said, since I'm not a journalist, I'm just like a practitioner of this trade inside the desert where there's really not much hope for success. But I'm going to do it regardless, which means that I'm taking on a challenge that I have no idea how far it will go.
Sahara Reporters built its reputation by publishing investigations, leaked documents, and stories that other outlets often avoided. Supporters saw it as fearless journalism. Critics accused it of sensationalism and political bias. Either way, people paid attention. Sowore would eventually move into politics. He founded the African Action Congress and has contested Nigeria's presidential election more than once. His message has remained remarkably consistent. Nigeria, he argues, cannot be repaired by the same political class that created its problems. His solution is not gradual reform. It is fundamental political change. Supporters describe him as one of Nigeria's few politicians who has remained ideologically consistent for decades. Critics argue that consistency alone has not translated into electoral success. His campaigns have inspired loyal supporters, but they have yet to attract enough votes to seriously challenge Nigeria's established political parties. Even so, Sowore remains one of the country's best-known opposition figures. Over the years, he has been arrested multiple times in connection with protests and allegations brought by the authorities. He has consistently maintained that these arrests are politically motivated and has denied wrongdoing. At the time this documentary is being made, he is again facing legal troubles connected to recent protest activities. Whether you see him as a revolutionary, a career activist, or simply a politician who refuses to give up, one thing is difficult to deny. For more than 30 years, Omoyele Sowore has refused to leave the fight. The question is, has Nigeria refused to follow? When Nigerians think about children born into privilege, certain names come to mind. The Otedolas.
My papa, they work so hard, so every day in them remind me, nobody should get comfortable now, so you must continue.
The Adenugas.
What is the highest note we have? Nigerian. You've been to Nigeria, so there's no excuse. Is it A, 1,000 naira? Is it B, 10,000 naira? Is it C, 5,000 naira?
Ooh, my gut instinct tells me to say 5. However, Nigerians, we're so extra. We're just so out of this world that I feel like we would just have a 10,000 naira. No, I'm going to say 10,000.
You're going to lock that in? I'm locking in 10,000. Okay. And the answer is 1,000. Now, for the last...
The Adeleke family.
Doing the right thing.
Even your godfather.
My godfather is Ali. He drove me from the house. That's my godfather. He's the richest black man in the world. My dad was a billionaire driving a Honda Accord. I'm telling you.
Families whose wealth is measured in billions. But there's another kind of inheritance, one that cannot be measured by bank accounts alone. A family whose greatest asset isn't oil, or banking, or real estate. It's a name.
The next nominee for Best Musical, Fela, is the true story of legendary Nigerian musician Fela Kuti. His life inspired a nation, and his soulful Afrobeat rhythms ignited a generation.
Motivated by his mother, a civil rights champion played by Tony nominee Lillias White, Fela defied a corrupt and oppressive military government and devoted his life and music to the struggle for freedom and human dignity.
Now please welcome Tony nominees Lilius White and Sarun Galja and the company of Fela.
Nearly 3 decades after his death, Fela Anikulapo Kuti remains one of Africa's most influential musicians. He didn't just make songs, he created a genre, Afrobeat, music that mixed jazz, highlife, funk, and traditional African rhythms into something entirely new. But perhaps his greatest creation wasn't the music, it was the brand. Today, the Fela name is recognized from Lagos to London, from New York to Paris. His records continue to sell. His music continues to be streamed. His life has inspired books, documentaries, and even a Broadway musical. Every year, musicians around the world perform his songs. The annual Felabration Festival attracts thousands of people, and members of the Kuti family continue touring internationally, performing to audiences that span multiple continents. For many fans around the world, Afrobeat isn't simply entertainment. It's part music, part political commentary, part cultural identity. That global recognition has turned the Fela name into one of Nigeria's most valuable cultural legacies, and the Kuti family protects that legacy carefully. There is another reason the shrine continues to fascinate Nigerians. Nigeria has strict laws against cannabis. Many Nigerians believe that being caught with it can result in arrest and prosecution. Yet for years, the New Africa Shrine has had a public reputation, fairly or unfairly, for open cannabis use in and around the venue. Supporters argue that many stories about the shrine are exaggerated. Critics have long questioned whether the authorities have treated the shrine differently from ordinary public spaces. Seun Kuti was born into that legacy. Unlike Sowore, he didn't spend decades building a movement from university campuses. His platform already existed. His challenge was different. How do you inherit one of Africa's biggest revolutionary legacies without becoming trapped by it? Over the years, Seun has tried to answer that question in his own way, through music, through political commentary.
But first of all, what does a working Nigeria look like to you?
A working Nigeria must simply be somewhere where the foundations of its development is based on the enhancement of the dignity and living standards of its people. Now, we hear a lot about functioning African societies in the past. But you and I have to agree we've never experienced or seen that. It's something we've always known. Oh, Yoruba Empire, the Oyo Empire, there was the Benin Kingdom, there was the Egyptians.
We just heard about them.
No, we hear them. We never, this our generation, we didn't see it.
Yeah.
So, in as much as history can teach us how those society function, a lot is still left to our imagination in terms of how to build that in the modern world.
He also answered that question through controversy.
I put you. They don't bash am. Someone don't send police. And then be Nigerian citizen now. Number 1 citizens of Nigeria. Fuck. You bash am, sir. Now better news to this.
In 2023, a video showing Seun Kuti slapping a police officer spread rapidly across social media. The incident sparked nationwide debate. After the video went viral, Seun turned himself in to the police. He was arrested, charged in court, and later granted bail while the legal process continued. For many Nigerians, the case raised another question. Would an ordinary Nigerian have experienced the justice system in exactly the same way? That question has no simple answer, but the public debate itself reflects something larger. Whether people admire the Kuti family or criticize them. Very few Nigerians believe they are an ordinary family. Today, Seun's politics remain deeply influenced by the ideas his father championed. He frequently speaks against corruption, against economic inequality, against what he sees as elite control of Nigeria. His supporters see consistency. His critics argue that translating revolutionary rhetoric into practical political success has proved much harder. And unlike Sowore, Seun's greatest political influence has not come through elections. It has come through culture, through music, through ideas, and through one of the most famous surnames on the African continent.
All right, Nigerians, you see the government of this country, una fear them, una fear this country well.
VDM is different from the other two. Sowore spent decades building a political movement. Seun inherited one of Africa's biggest cultural legacies. VDM built his influence almost entirely from a smartphone. Unlike Sowore, VeryDarkMan didn't begin as a student activist. Unlike Seun Kuti, he wasn't born into one of Nigeria's most famous families. In fact, just a few years ago, most Nigerians had never heard his name. Martins Vincent Atse was, by his own account, living a relatively ordinary life before social media changed everything. He didn't become famous through music. He didn't become famous through politics. He didn't become famous through television. He became famous by speaking directly into a phone. At first, his videos focused on consumer complaints, scams, and controversial products. He spoke the way millions of ordinary Nigerians speak. No polished grammar, no expensive studio, no carefully managed public image. Then the videos became bigger. Celebrities, businesses, government agencies, police officers. Nobody seemed to be off limits. Every new controversy brought more attention, more followers, more supporters, and naturally, more enemies. Unlike traditional politicians, VeryDarkMan doesn't ask people to join a political party. He asks them to follow him. Unlike television stations, he doesn't wait for permission to publish. If he believes something deserves attention, he posts immediately. That speed became one of his greatest strengths. It also became one of his biggest criticisms. Supporters describe him as fearless. Critics argue that he sometimes reaches conclusions too quickly or makes accusations that become highly controversial. Either way, millions keep watching. Today, VeryDarkMan has built one of the most engaged online communities in Nigeria. Unlike many influencers whose audiences are built around entertainment, his audience follows him because they believe he fights for ordinary people. That support has followed him through investigations, public disputes, arrests, court appearances, and repeated controversies. Each time, his influence has appeared to grow. But influence on social media and influence in government are not the same thing. Leading millions of followers is one challenge. Leading a country of more than 200 million people would be another entirely. So where does VeryDarkMan actually stand politically? Interestingly, he has never built a traditional political movement. He has no registered political party. He has not campaigned for the presidency. His politics are issue-driven rather than party-driven. He often argues that accountability should come before political loyalty, that public officials should answer directly to the people, and that no individual should be beyond criticism. Supporters see this as independence. Critics argue that a movement without clear structures, policies, or institutions may struggle to achieve lasting political change.
My problem is we have been talking.
We've not organized.
What kind of organization are
we
you
need to
looking at?
organize ourselves politically.
How?
How do political organizations organize? We find ourselves, people with like interests, and we share those interests with people, find more people with like interests, and grow political platforms that we can use to represent ourselves democratically to get the results we want from our country. That is what we are not doing. Anybody can take sale, whatever they want, like that.
I know they follow now do down that nonsense. What they do? Do you understand? We are not politicizing our movement. When that time comes, everybody will know. But for now, we do where we do.
Which brings us back to the question that started this documentary. If Sowore represents organized political activism, and Seun Kuti represents cultural resistance, then what exactly does VeryDarkMan represent? And can a movement built on social media become something bigger?
Now we get social media. Seun, Big Bad Kuti.
Three men, three different visions for Nigeria. Now that we know who these three men are, let's put the arguments aside for a moment. Forget the insults. Forget social media. Forget the fan bases. Strip everything away. When you really listen to them, you realize they are trying to solve the same problem, but they don't agree on how to do it. Let's start with Sowore. Sowore believes Nigeria's biggest problem is the political system itself. In his view, corruption isn't just caused by bad leaders. It's built into the way power works. That's why he has spent decades organizing protests, building a political party, and contesting elections. His message has remained largely the same: replace the political class, build new institutions, hold leaders accountable. To Sowore, real change comes through organized political struggle. Seun Kuti looks at Nigeria differently. Yes, he talks about corruption, but he also talks about inequality, the concentration of wealth, the legacy of colonialism, and the economic structures he believes continue to shape Africa. Like his father before him, he often argues that political freedom means very little if ordinary people remain economically trapped. For Seun, changing leaders is not enough. Society itself must change. VeryDarkMan takes yet another approach. He rarely talks about detailed policy. Instead, he focuses on individual cases. One corrupt official, one business, one celebrity, one injustice, one viral video at a time. His belief appears to be simple. If enough powerful people are exposed, others will think twice before abusing their positions. His supporters see this as practical accountability. His critics argue that exposing problems is only the first step, and that lasting change also requires institutions, laws, and public policy. 3 men, 3 different strategies. One wants to change the political system. One talks about transforming society and economic power. One focuses on public accountability through constant exposure. None of these approaches is guaranteed to succeed. History suggests that meaningful political change usually requires more than one strategy. It often takes organized politics, public pressure, independent journalism, active citizens, and institutions that continue working long after individual personalities leave the stage. So perhaps the biggest question isn't which man is right. Perhaps the bigger question is whether any one approach by itself is enough to change a country as complex as Nigeria. Because if history teaches us anything, it is that changing a nation is much harder than changing a government. From allies to adversaries. The strange thing about this story is that it didn't begin with enemies. It began with respect. For a time, many Nigerians believed these men were pushing in the same direction. They criticized corruption. They challenged powerful people. They attracted young Nigerians who were tired of politics. But movements don't only break because of external pressure. Sometimes they break from within.
A lot of 1 or 2 things that you people don't know, right? So I will start from the genesis, because the genesis is Omoyele Sowore. As you all know, a case was filed on my behalf. My lawyer and myself talked together to file a case against B-Lord.
I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. B-Lord came up with a registration that purports that he has registered Ratel, whatever, the Ratel brand, not knowing that VeryDarkMan had registered that thing long time ago. He subsequently also had recorded the B-Lord brand. And B-Lord went and imported electric vehicles with B-Lord on it, written on the bodies of the electric vehicles for public transport. And VeryDarkMan said that B-Lord had broken a law because he had registered the name of that brand, B-Lord. And I thought he was joking. And B-Lord went and published things, allegedly using VeryDarkMan's face, billboards with his image and all that. And VeryDarkMan went to court.
At the end of the day, the police were asked to go and bring him. And they brought him to court. As they brought him, they went to court. So when they got to court, the judge asked him, "Where's your lawyer?" Said his lawyer is not there. So the judge said, "Take him to the station tomorrow, bring him, and by that time his lawyer should be available," right?
And got an order for him to be restrained in prison for 26 days until the next judgment day. I don't know whether it is AI, but VeryDarkMan with his lawyer escorted B-Lord in the Black Maria, that's the vehicle that carries people prisoners, to the Kuje prisons.
After that, next thing from nowhere, Omoyele Sowore made a tweet. And then he said he's going to talk to his astute lawyer to disengage from the case. And also, he's going to discontinue the case.
That my intervention in the case is to ensure that Billot's rights are not trampled upon, and that he's granted bail, and that the case is discontinued, and that my lawyer has been directed as such. Everything I told you has come to pass. So what else are you looking for? The case, according to him, from what you are saying, he has met with Billot and resolved privately, right? Or openly. We have brought Billot out of prison. And as a result, he's no longer going to move for a bail application, which was slated for today. The judge has abandoned the case. What else do you want me to tell you? Get an arrival. Yes. But as regarding the threats, I have said it before. I always offer myself as a scapegoat so that people will not suffer. Yes. So if I said this will be like maybe my fourth time of telling you, if I have to go down so that people don't get maltreated, I'm ready to go down. There's no big deal about it. So you want me to be trading words with him? That's not my nature and it's not in my character. I'm more interested in the police who is doing all this rubbish, who applies itself to cases that don't exist with public funds. It is police that brought us to this situation in the first place. So hasn't Billot gone home? It's home. Haven't we discontinued this case by reconciliation? It discontinued. Hasn't the judge abandoned the case? He abandoned it and ran away. He ran away because... Next question, please.
Do you understand? When Omoyele said that, I was not surprised. I was not surprised. You know why? Because Omoyele Sowore, because of his previous interviews that he has done about VeryDarkMan, I know see this man don't like me at all.
Let's talk about VeryDarkMan.
Who is VeryDarkMan? You have to give me people's names.
That is his name.
No, that's not. I'm sure you're referring to Martins.
Yes.
Or Chelsea or something. Yeah.
We all know him as VeryDarkMan.
Yeah, okay. I don't have a Rolodex or a measurement in my house to say who an activist is, who is not an activist. I think it's for society and sometimes over time to determine who the activists are. And sometimes society choose the activists, whether they're activists or not.
His VDM, what do you think of his activism?
Did you just say he's activist like myself?
Well, I think one of
the reason why I said that is that you know I don't make these comparisons.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I don't. You know, look on myself.
What do you think of what he's doing, VDM? What do you think?
I don't see. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. And
maybe the end will justify the means.
Is he a force for good, in your opinion?
I don't.
I think he is. I think he's a force for good.
I don't make those. So I'm not a calibrator for people who are activists, because there are people who have criticized my method and found that they were wrong. Yeah. And there are people who have criticized their methods before. I haven't found myself to be wrong.
Anyways, let's get right into it. So when he made the post, I made my own post. Then after my own post, I called Seun Kuti and I told him, I said, bros, show you the see what Sowore do, right? Sowore get option to call me. Then Sowore go online, go to say he won't discontinue my case based on which level. He would have called me if he does not like the matter. Seun Kuti said, I also saw what he posted and I was not pleased with it. Don't worry yourself, I'll call Sowore, make you come on for this matter, because at the end of the day, he no go use because of Billot spoil the relationship where we all get. Like even if you want one as somebody like Billot, where get questionable character, that's going to call Sowore. You understand? Seun was not happy on the phone about it. Then Seun Kuti ended the call that he will call Sowore. Next thing, me and him talk again. He can't tell me say, Seun Kuti voice can't change. The way they sound before, no be so they sound. He say he go just come on here for the matter. That's because two of us no one listening to him. He go come on here and say no go talk about the matter again.
Seun Kuti said, "Una think say I go allow una come my life come dey insult Omoyele Sowore and I no go defend them. If two of my friends choose to fight themselves, na them business be that. I don't have to pick sides. I am nobody's minion. But I won't allow anyone insult either to my face."
Do you understand? So Seun Kuti remove him. From nowhere, Sowore said make another interview.
Even VeryDarkMan, if I had not intervened on his behalf on Easter Sunday of 2024, that was the day he was arrested. It was the first time he enjoyed freedom, and he brags about it. He will not be able to be doing what he's doing today if I had abandoned him in prison at that time.
I said, okay, if not like this, you won't go. As you won't show everybody, say, Sowore, now you be the holiest as thou. Make we can show Nigerians the part where they know they look before about you, where they claim say you be sent, because you are not different from these politicians that you actually criticize, and that's just the truth. Do you understand? Then I hit them below the belt. So unmasking Omoyele Sowore part 1. As you all know, Omoyele Sowore have run for office of president twice. He has aspired to be the president 2 times, in 2019 and in 2023. But the truth is this: Omoyele Sowore does not want to be the president of Nigeria, as he make you people believe. He has never planned to become the president of Nigeria in his life, because Omoyele Sowore is in business. He's in what I call fundraising business. That Omoyele Sowore, all these protests where they can't do for Nigeria, all this end bad governance, it is because he gets funding from abroad. And it is the truth. Then I went further to say, all this is presidential aspiration, say he won't be president. All of them are because of fundraising, and it is the truth. Do you understand? As I talk, that's how people come with the bash Sowore. If you go Sowore live, Sowore they do live, they don't even let them do the live, they bash. If you go in comment section, they bash and they finish them. From nowhere, bro. I just see Seun Kuti for live.
Una no rich rats. You understand? Una no rich rats. Una small pass rats. That's why all the nonsense we una oga. You don't go to delete. Liar, okay, but just say. You guys can never do anything and stand on it. Now the way is fine. I don't say I go dig. And I go say this one with small. I go dig with you now. I don't they prepare am. Now I go soon hear the news. Boom. Like on board. Boom. Now we begin beg, they begin cry. Now we begin beg, they begin cry. If they born on a way, I never seen. Why would I never try? I gather on myself. Because okay, they won't even bring me to the last thing I want to talk for you. Wait, annoy me because even VDM said this shit. When I say come as I can't fight for me, because I don't see why VDM fight for me. VDM say no insult fella, insult Seun. What kind of friend will say people should go and insult his friend? And don't insult fella na baba, insult Seun. In brother said come as I yesterday. He used a different word. When I don't insult baba fella, go after Seun. Go after who, motherfucker? In the words of the immortal Bernie Mac, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Una know me face to face now. See how the person way go after who? Is this a trend? Are we trying to go there? See, the ground one I go land. This one I will come back. And I go stand up again. Don't say I go stand up. I'm going to tweet the next day. Say nobody go stand up. I'm gonna try am because this is getting fucking ridiculous. You fucking rats. Why am I calling them rats? I've said sorry, rats. You fucking, I don't know, call you you cowards, bro. Go after Seun, bro. You say I push over that face for my house. I put one friend face. I don't put. Now give me money, take big house. Now give me inside. Look, I don't talk the amount before tax people come find me. I beg, you give me money. What kind of sense of entitlement be that talk when you talk is because you they come my house with video, you they chop for my house. You don't taste my pepper. You don't taste my salt. When I come my house, they stop when I forget.
As the exchanges escalated, VeryDarkMan began questioning whether his refusal to join Seun Kuti's movement of the people had turned him into a target. He suggested that his decision to remain independent may have contributed to the growing hostility between them.
Bro, these people now by force I won't join you now.
These Nigerians ask this very stigmatized man when I, Seun, have even asked him to join MOP. If I, Seun, have ever asked him to join MOP. If I, Seun, have ever asked him to meet with Sowore.
The disagreement had now reached a critical moment. Seun Kuti publicly challenged VeryDarkMan to produce a single instance in which he had ever asked him to join the movement of the people. It was a direct challenge, one that few expected would be answered with archived video from Seun's own live broadcast.
Even my guy VDM, I see the beggar. Come MOP. I'm begging. Every day, Baba, we go run now. No worry. Nobody. Sowore, I cannot count how many people Sowore has gone to beg.
By now, the split was impossible to ignore. Supporters began choosing sides. Some remained loyal to Sowore. Others rallied behind VeryDarkMan. Many defended Seun. And social media did what social media always does. It turned a disagreement into a war. Every interview became evidence. Every live stream became ammunition. Every old friendship was re-examined. Every sentence was analyzed. But beneath all the insults, there was a much bigger disagreement, not about personalities, about trust. Sowore appeared to believe that VeryDarkMan's approach could weaken genuine political organizing. VeryDarkMan appeared to believe that decades of activism had produced too few tangible political results. Seun argued that activism without discipline and principles could ultimately damage the causes it claimed to defend, whether you agree with any of them or none of them. One thing became clear. 3 influential anti-establishment voices in Nigeria were no longer speaking with one voice. And once that happened, millions of Nigerians found themselves asking a simple question. If the people promising change cannot agree on the path forward, who should Nigerians believe? Could they ever work together again? So, can this relationship be repaired? Probably not, at least, not anytime soon. Because this isn't just about hurt feelings, it's about trust. And in politics, trust is one of the hardest things to rebuild. Think about it. If Sowore genuinely believes VeryDarkMan's approach is damaging opposition politics, why would he trust him with a political movement? If VeryDarkMan genuinely believes Sowore's movement has failed to produce the results it promised, why would he follow him? And if Seun Kuti believes that movements must be built on principles before personalities, why would he ignore what he sees as fundamental differences? These aren't small disagreements. They're disagreements about how change happens. And yet, there is another way of looking at this story. What if all 3 men are solving different parts of the same problem? Sowore understands political organization. He has spent decades building structures, contesting elections, and confronting the state. Seun Kuti understands culture. He knows that music, ideas, and identity can influence generations long before politicians do. VeryDarkMan understands attention. He knows how to make millions of Nigerians pay attention to issues that might otherwise be ignored. Political organization, cultural influence, digital mobilization. Imagine what those 3 strengths could achieve if they were ever pointed in the same direction. Would that be enough to change Nigeria? Nobody knows, because it has never happened. Instead, like many opposition movements before them, division arrived before victory. History is full of movements that failed because they could not stay united. But history also shows something else. Unity alone is not enough. People can unite around a cause and still disagree on the destination. Maybe that's where these 3 men are today, not simply arguing over personalities, but arguing over the future itself. What should Nigeria become? Who should lead it? And what is the fastest path to get there? Those questions remain unanswered, and perhaps they are too important to be answered by just one man.